All right, welcome everyone to Overtime. My name is Brendan Bardick, and I'm joined by my friend and business partner, Anna McKeel. Welcome, Anna. And
Hey.
today we're excited because we're going to be talking about objections, right? So we've been getting a lot of requests for this session, and we're super pumped to bring it to you on how to handle no's. And when I talk about no's, it's not necessarily always a no. When we talk about objections, we really have to think about this simple concept of there are objections, right? And then there are conditions. And so today we're going to go through some of our favorite sales conversation and techniques that we utilize to make sure that when we hear an objection, we can move past it efficiently, and then that way we can move forward to continuing the conversation. So, in understanding this, we have to understand that for sellers and buyers, there's only a certain amount of things they're ever going to say to us in the history of doing real estate, right? And once you understand what those are, you can practice how to handle them so that you can navigate to the next part of the conversation. And what I want you to think about is just constantly extending the conversation, right? There's no perfect magic thing that we can say to someone that's going to go, ooh, mic drop, and they're gonna change their entire mind and say yes to you. What it will do, though, it will extend the conversation. It will get you further to getting to the real root of what the problem is. And then we talk about this all the time, right, Anna? We talk about looking at this and going, there's objection blocking, which has to do with a lot
Mm.
of leading to not getting so many objections. And then once you finally do get to the objection, how do we get past it? So let's start with just talking through for a second, objection blocking, right? When we talk about objection blocking, we're starting with a client, whether a seller or a buyer, and they may or may not, because of the natural course of how humans are, have a high level of resistance to what you're trying to have success with, which is getting a listing agreement signed, right? That's a
Mhm.
big one. Maybe it's getting an offer accepted. Maybe it's getting them to move forward on an inspection objection. Maybe it's getting a buyer to move forward on a house because they're just, you're showing them 50 houses and I want to see one more. I want to see one more. How do you get past those things? Well, a lot of it happens in the setup, right? So we can block a lot. And then once we block these things because our presentation is really good, our value is there, our practice is in place, when you have that, then the objections become less and less and less. But today we're going to focus strictly on objections. We're just going to go through some of these, talk to you about the psychology of them. We're going to role play through some of them so you can hear it live, and then hopefully listen to this and take it and practice with it so you'll be good. So you're going to get 27 minutes pure objection handling magic, if that's the best way of saying it, right?
Yeah.
So let's start, Anna, with first of all, below you're going to see a link to our sales conversation book. This has every sales conversation tool that we utilize to help agents have the most maximum success in talking to clients. And then second, number two, not only the conversations, but all of the objections that we know if you master are going to lead you to a lot more yeses instead of maybes, or I want to sleep on it, or I want to think about it, so that we can get signatures, right?
Yeah.
Signatures or deals done or progression. So in our book, there are 50 of them, right? We call them the 50 most common seller and buyer objections. And so we're just going to go through some of these, talk about the psychology, and then play with them. So
So,
the
Brendan,
first one,
before we
yeah,
start, I want to kind of give a little bit
please.
of context because you gave some really good nuggets there, and I want to drill down on a couple of them before we jump into the actual role play. So, why is objection blocking so important? Why not just let the client come out with all of their objections? What do I potentially risk as a real estate agent if I don't objection block and I simply objection handle?
Yeah, so I've heard a lot of statistics on this. The easiest one that I always think of is it's 80 times more difficult to deal with somebody verbalizing their objection right? Meaning they're going to say something and speak it into the world. Then if I could block it, and when we talk about blocking it, you might be like, well, how do you block an objection? The way that you block an objection is you address the concern that you know you're more likely already going to get at some point in the conversation ahead of time. So you do this by a simple process of what we call setting the standard or setting the expectation. So let's just use this in the instance of I'm meeting with a seller to list their home. And we know that sellers are going to be thinking about a few simple things that they're going to have concerns with almost every time. How long is it going to take? How much is it going to cost? What are you going to do? What am I going to walk away with? These things. So what I want you to think about when you're listening to this is, what do you think are the possible in your area seller concerns that they're going to have prior to you going on the appointment? And you're going to want to write all of those down. And then what you want to do is design your presentation around making sure that when you meet with the client, you're going to set an expectation that all of these items will be addressed in due time. And so it sounds something like this, right? So I meet Anna at the house. We sit down. We have a very specific process that you can always, purchase from us or join us in our group coaching. But we have a simple process. It's called Sold in 65. So we sell homes in 65 hours or less, over market value, with the least amount of issues and friction possible, right? Making it as convenient as possible. So when I go to meet with Anna, I'm going to meet with her, and I'm going to just quickly get to this, objection blocking part. After I review her goals and keep this rhythm, and remember, objection blocking has a lot to do with rhythm. I'm going to keep this rhythm going with her. Then as I get to the next step, I'm going to present what's going to happen in my presentation so that the seller or buyer knows what's coming. So they're going to shut their mouth and wait to say anything because they know that it's going to be presented in the presentation. So it sounds like this. So Anna, thank you for reviewing all your goals with me. I'm excited. I can't wait to take a look at the home and have you walk me through it. Now, Anna, one of the things is, or not one of the things, so Anna, as we go and look through the home, I want you to first of all point out anything that you think is a material defect that might come up on an inspection. And also on the other side, any enhancements you've made to the property to enhance the value since you've been purchasing it. Now, Anna, after we look at the home, I would like to sit down at the kitchen table. I'm going to take you through Colorado's most innovative home selling program to make sure that we maximize the highest price for your home. I'll explain everything that we do. Then the next thing we're going to do, Anna, is I'm going to get what we call your seller preferred terms. Everything that you want to make this sale perfect, we're going to make sure that we get that all down on one piece of paper. Then I'm going to take you through seller estimated net sheets. So Anna, you're going to know what you're walking away with. You're going to know exactly, how much you're going to be walking away from this home with. Then we're going to talk about timeline, making sure that the timeline is absolutely perfect with you. And then from there, I'll just answer any questions. So I'd like to take a look at the home. Can we start on the main floor first, then go upstairs, then downstairs, then do a full 360 of the outside, then we'll come back in at the kitchen table. So let's go ahead and take a look at the main floor. Now, that's fast. I would never do it that fast in real time. Obviously, in this, there's a lot of matching and mimicking. There's the personality styles. I'm just trying to get it all out as fast as possible.
But you
what
recently did this, right? On an actual
Yeah,
listing
just did this on
appointment
Friday night.
recently.
Just did this
Yeah.
Friday night.
Okay.
Just did this Friday night. Just took another listing, right? Just did this Friday night. And so in looking at this, what happened in there is I'm going to take her through the program. So that's where she's going to go, well, if I need to ask about marketing, I need to ask about this, I'm going to ask that question there. Estimated net sheet, you're going to know what you're walking away with. So that's where that person's going, well, I'm going to have all these questions about commission and cost and whatever it might be. Timeline, right? How long is it going to take? What am I going to need to do to get ready for all of this? And then, of course, I'm going to answer any questions, and that's a big piece. And then I'll answer any questions you have. And by saying that you're going to answer any questions, you really are never going to answer any questions because you're going to keep this rhythm as you heard me just do. At no point in this am I pausing to ask any questions. The most successful salespeople just keep a constant rhythm and are in control the entire time. We're just leading the client through where we want to go, and then finish at this crescendo, this da, 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 final pace where they just go sign, right? They just look around and they sign the agreement. So that's what objection blocking is in one small aspect, right? And when we talk about that, that is the most powerful technique, because when you do a great presentation and you've thought about on the front side what you should be saying, instead of just going, so yeah, Anna, sounds like you want to sell your house. We're going to take you through the CMA today and do some other things. So, any questions before we look at the home?
And then you're going
And
to
then when I,
get all sorts of things that come out, and then you're on the fly having to respond, and you're in
you're having
full
objection
objection
handling,
handling.
yes, which
So
is
does
tough.
so does objection blocking bulletproof the conversation so you never have to handle an objection, or objections are going to still come up and you have to know how to handle those?
Right. So I always give this analogy. That's a great question, Anna. I always give this analogy, right? You go to the mall to buy a pair of jeans, right? And I use
Yeah.
this one all the time. You know you're there to buy jeans. You walk into the store to buy the jeans. The sales representative asks you, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" And you go, "No, I'm just looking." And then that salesperson, and in that one split second, is either going to have the opportunity to earn business from you, or have you walk out of that store and go into one of the other 12 stores in the mall that sells jeans. So that sales associate right then can go, "Okay, I'll be over here if you need me." Not going to make any money, probably, right? You're going to look
Right.
around, not find your size, kind of feel like you're all alone. You're going to walk out. The pro sales person is going to go, "Oh my gosh, well, first of all, I just wanted to let you know, thank you for coming in. We have a couple of specials happening today that I just wanted to make you aware of. And now, looking at it, are you in here for a particular type of purchase? Are you looking for shirts, jeans, whatever it is?" Starts asking questions, right? Starts asking questions. Then I'm going to go, "Well, yeah, I'm actually looking for a couple new pairs of jeans," or whatever it is. And they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, well, here, let me take you over here. I can show you what we have. And remember, we can custom order anything if you want from our website. So if we don't have your size in it." So I think we all agree we've seen that different level of
For
salesperson, right?
sure.
Where you go, "I'm going to probably buy something, whether I have a choice or not from this
Right.
person." Or
Yeah.
there's someone, so many of us in an open house, person comes in, you're sitting at, I've
Mm.
watched this, I go into his open house, sitting at the back table, and they go, "Hey, take a look at the house. If you guys have any questions, I'll be over here and you just let me know what you think." So I look at the house, and have no relationship, no same situation. I walk out of the house, leave there. The client never, I never make a relationship with that agent, and I move on to the next property, or I never call them again. So that's why this is so important, is to just think about your salesmanship, your rhythm, your passion for how you're making sure that you do this. To get back to Anna's question, even if you do it perfect, there's still going to be objections. So now I'm buying jeans from them, and I go, "Yeah, so again, it seems like $300 is a lot for a pair of jeans." That sales associate, now if he or she would have objection blocked ahead of time, would have talked to me about where the jeans are made, and why they're so special, and how they make my butt look, and how they're custom fitted, and how they can have them tapered to do all of this. And a llama gave its life. 6 llamas died in the creation of these jeans. I don't think llamas make jeans. I don't even know what jeans are made out of. Denim? What does denim come from? I don't know, right? But they're going to tell you why their
Cotton.
denim's better than the other denim. It's triple scrubbed. It's got, whatever. So that I get the value out of it, right? If I
Mhm.
don't understand the value, then I'm going to strictly go price versus gene. Now that sales associate has to go, "I completely understand that you may think that these jeans are priced more than others. May I explain why they're so valuable?" Now I
Mhm.
voiced it. Now they have to try to defend it. That's why objection blocking on ahead of time, we build up the value so that I'm immediately wanting the sale, instead of now I'm going to just pop bullets at this person being like, "Should I buy them? Why should I buy them?" And they have to dig themselves out of this hole. And that makes it more challenging. Not impossible, but as you just heard me there, with the right response, that sales associate can still lead me forward if they're smooth, if their conversation right. They're like, now if that sales associate goes, "Yeah, that is a lot of money. You're right. It's a ton of money for jeans. Um, we've got some jeans over here on special. Like, do you want to look at those? Right. And now I just go, well, great. There's no value here. Why would I buy these? They're going to try to sell me some discount jeans, AKA our commission, right? Our compensation. And we immediately go to take my money from me because I didn't explain the value. Right. And that's what objection handling is all about.
Brennan, you said one other thing, and I know we're going to get into these objections. You said something first at the front of our video, circumstance versus an objection. What's the difference of if
Oh,
I have an
well,
objection or
an
a
objection,
situation?
it's an objection versus a condition.
There we go.
Right? So condition versus objection. So I see agents all the time that try to use objection handlers on a condition. So here's what a condition is. A condition is I can't physically do something because of this. So let's put this in the instance of selling a home. I can't list with you today because my wife is not here and she needs to be a part of this to make this decision. Right? That is a very big condition. Now, some of you might go, well, that's an objection. And you can still try to get past and go, we can email it to her, all of that. But it's a condition. It's not that they're thinking about it going, we want to sleep on it, we want to wait, we're hesitant, they're both parties there. Another condition would be, I'd love to list the house this week, but I'm having brain surgery next week. And so I have to stay at home for the next 3 weeks, and I can't have anyone show the property because it would heavily disturb me. So if you keep shoving down their throat that they should go active this week and they need to not have their brain surgery and move to some other place, that's a condition, right? Objections are, I want to sleep on it. I want to think about it. How much, why, how, all of these things, where they're just not quite sure. An objection is, I'm just not quite sure if what you've told me is enough for me to move forward. So I'm hesitant, right? A hesitation would be that difference. So a lot of times it's just being very, very, here's another condition. Your buyer wants to buy a house for $500,000. They can only afford a house for $400,000. There's nothing on earth you can do. Not to say there's nothing. You can like borrow money from your parents. I know all my people are like, I'll solve that, right? You can do all these things, but that's a big condition that you're trying to get past. So when they keep asking you to go look at $500,000 homes and they can only afford $400,000 homes, you have to be equipped to handle that conversation instead of continuing to show them $500,000 homes when they can only afford a $400,000 home. So
Makes sense.
conditions and objections. All right. So let's talk about some of our most common objections, right? So we're going to start right from our book. And the first one that comes up is we want to wait until spring. Now, I know if you're listening to this now, it's midsummer. And I want to take this concept and make sure that you understand the key parts of this objection is we want to wait, right? This could be for a variety of reasons. So if you're handling this type of objection, you're trying to think, what's the risk for them waiting? Because there's always risk to any waiting. Right now, it's midsummer. We have an election coming up this fall. We want to wait until after the election. Might be something. We want to kind of wait and see what happens after this election. I completely, right? So there's always going to be a wait. So we'll go verbatim. So Anna's going to say, we want to wait until spring. And I'll say, Anna, I understand you want to wait, but the problem is so does your competition. So come next spring, we're going to have a flood of homes hitting the market and driving down prices. Don't you want to get the most money possible for your home, right? So think about the verbiage, right? Don't you want to get the most money possible for your home? She has to say what?
Yeah, of course. We need
Yes,
every dollar.
yes. Yes, that's why all of these, I spent my life going through all these conversations. I've refined them, I've built them. Anna's helped me a million times work on getting them more finessed. So we've evolved these to make sure that you lead to not getting no's, right? Now, if I rephrased that objection handler and I said, we're going to have a flood of hitting the homes market, or hitting the homes, hitting the market, driving down prices. So Anna, what do you think you want to do, right? That instead of you do want to get the most money possible, if that verbiage is just slightly off just a little bit, she goes, yeah, I just think we still want to wait. We want to see what my house shows a lot better in the spring. This one is for like when it's winter and we're in Colorado, right? And everyone tries to wait until spring because they think they're going to get more money because it's going to be pretty out and the flowers are going to be blooming and all of this, right? But it's the flood of homes that are going to be competing against her in spring that is going to cause her to have more competition, less serious buyers, therefore driving her prices down. In addition, we also don't know what could happen. A lot of people said they wanted to wait till spring and then COVID hit. A lot of people wanted to wait till spring and then 9/11 hit. A lot of people wanted to wait till spring and this happened or that happened in their area. There was a tornado, a hurricane, a fire, a whatever. We don't know what the future holds, right? So we're just trying to guide them on going, you can still have success selling right now. And here's the risks of what could happen if you don't. Then the second part in our conversation book is then always ending this in a rhythm of an alternate close, or what we call an alternative tie down. So then she goes, yes. And I go, great. I can stop by today at 4, or does tomorrow at 1 work better for you? Always giving the option to pick one or the other instead of going, well, great. So Anna, when do you think would be a good time for me to stop by? Anna's going to go, I don't know. I got to talk to so-and-so. This week's really bad for me. We're going to Cancun this week. We've got this, we've got that. This is why practice matters. This verbiage, when you go to one or the other, today at 4 or tomorrow at 1, doesn't mean every time they're going to go, tomorrow at 1, but it's going to increase your odds. All we're trying to do is increase the odds of your success. The other technique on this is, so Anna, would love to meet with you. Do nights or weekends work better for you? Now she's got to pick one or the other. So now she's going to go, nights are much better for us. Weeknights are much better for us. Or she's going to go, weekends. Excellent. This weekend, I've got availability at 11 o'clock on Saturday. There's 3 o'clock on Sunday. Work better for you. She has to pick. So we're going ding, 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 ding. Not, let me ask you an open-ended question and hope to get a powerful response. Or a positive response, not a powerful response, a positive response.
Well, and it's also more effective and efficient. I mean, have you guys ever been in a situation where you will go back and forth 5, 6, 7 times to find one date and time to get on the calendar, and then times that by 5, 6, or 12 clients that you're working with? You're constantly in logistics, which is also a nightmare.
Yes. Yeah. So we're just trying to reduce the amount of what ifs, what haves yous, and get to where you want to go. So that's a simple. So think about this in anything. Whether you like our conversation book, I always say this: learn ours first, then add your creativity to it afterwards. We talked about this today. Start with a proven model and build on top of it instead of trying to build your own. If you go, that doesn't sound like me. Nothing sounds like. I don't golf like Tiger Woods. I'm trying to, but I certainly don't, right? I'm trying to get there, but he obviously knows how to do it better than me. So what am I going to do? Try to mimic him first instead of going out and, go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to hit my putter backwards to see if that works, right? Just because I think it looks cooler if I hit it backwards, right? It's like, no, you're trying to follow a model and then build your creativity on top of it. So let's go on to number 2. Right. So on this one, the second one in the conversation book is we want to wait for the market to get better. Right now, this obviously depends on what area of the country you're in, where you're at. Maybe it's a certain neighborhood. Maybe it's a certain situation. It could be like in our area now, inventory's growing, interest rates. We hear this a lot, right? Think about this. What if you just replaced, we want to wait for the market to get better. We want to wait for interest rates to drop. Right? Same concept in all of these. There's always going to be some reason why I think I should wait, possibly, right? So from the book, so Anna, I've had several, remember this is seller directed, I've had several sellers tell me the same thing over a year ago, and now the market's dropped even further. Unfortunately, with the current lack of buyer demand, we have no indication it's going to get better anytime soon. So I'd like to come by and provide you with some information on how you can successfully move forward at the very least. I can stop by today at 4, would tomorrow at 1 work better for you? That's it, right? So we're just talking about providing information. Let me come over, let's look at the stats, let's look at the pluses and minuses, instead of on the phone just going, yeah, you know what, interest rates suck, or I'm worried about the election, or I'm worried about, this other house just came on the market in our neighborhood. We want to see if it's going to sell first. What's the worry about waiting? What's the concern that we're trying to solve there? All right. So, next one, number 3, right? We cannot afford to pay a commission. Ooh, now this is where we get into an interesting part. Is that a condition or an objection? We cannot afford. Now, this one hasn't really hurt us in a long time, Anna, because everyone got a lot of equity out of their properties, really started to build a lot of this up, right? But if we're looking at that conversation, is it a condition? If they're upside down on their mortgage and they physically can't afford to pay, are there ways that we can solve this? The answer is, of course, yes. So let's go through it, and then we'll talk after this. So Anna, I understand the numbers are tight, but my goal is to make sure you net the most money possible. To make sure this happens, you are going to need the best information available to make an educated decision. I will be in your neighborhood this afternoon to view the home and make sure I can help you. I can stop by today at 4, would tomorrow at 1 work better for you? Now, Anna, this one is just always designed. Can't solve problems over the phone without meeting with people. We don't know how far they're off on their numbers. We can ask them on the phone, but people get kind of sensitive about that. I've had plenty of people that have borrowed money, sold a car. Some people have to move, right?
Right.
If their motivation is there, they're going to find a way. We've short sell houses all the time. We do all these different things. A lot of the agents hearing this are like, we've never had to deal with this because almost everyone has equity right now. But I just wanted to cover that one quickly because it could come
You
back and
never
there's
know.
different areas that happen.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And
All
what I
right.
like
So
about
let's,
this one as we move into the 4th one is always coming from a place of consultation, right? Sales starts with education. And so many people think, oh, I'm having conversations so I can solve problems over the phone. The goal of any conversation, Brendan, is to what? Get in front of someone,
well, absolutely. And it's
right?
to solve problems. There's all
Yeah.
these, objection is just another word for a problem, right? And all of us have different problems. I'd like to sell, but I want to wait till the kids are back in school. I'd like to sell, but I want to sell before the kids go back to school. All these different problems are happening all the time, right? We are professional problem solvers. That is what we're here to do. But it's hard to solve a problem over the phone. It's so much easier when we're talking about, especially phone conversations, to get in front of them, present information, build a relationship, and then work towards a successful problem solve.
Yep.
That's all we're trying to do.
Yep.
So I think we have time for one more, and then we'll pick this up next week. So number 4, we're going to stay with our current agent. Now, obviously, this is designed for an expired phone call. You call them up or you knock on the door of the expired, and they're going, you know what? I didn't even know my property came off the market. Anna's great. We want to stay with her. We were really surprised about this. All we're trying to do is go, if you just go, well, great, let me know if anything happens with Anna. You just lost a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 opportunity. Instead, they just expired. So something went wrong here, whether their agent didn't do the right thing in the MLS, there was something that went sideways. So I'm just going to go, Anna, I can appreciate that you like your previous agent, but the fact is they did not do the job you hired them to do. I will be in your neighborhood this afternoon and would like to stop by and view your home and explain the aggressive approach my team and I take to get homes sold. If you're not on a team, don't say that, just say I take. I can stop by today at 4, or would tomorrow at 1 o'clock work better for you, right? So all we're trying to do is go, we get it, but they didn't do the job you hired them to do. Let me come over and meet with you and see if there's anything we can possibly put together here. But again, if we go back to the beginning of that, and I've watched agents do this when they call expireds, and I'm sitting right across from them on the morning sessions, and they're going, yeah, you can hear the seller going, oh man, yeah, we're going to keep it with Anna. She's done great. It's just the market right now that's the problem, right? It's just tough right now. If you go right then to that point of going, okay, well, if you ever need any help, just let me know, without even trying to get your foot in the door, you just lost $10, $15, $20,000, right? That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time for today's session. We're going to be taking a deep dive into objections, sales conversations over the next several weeks here. So join us every week at 11:30 Mountain Standard Time. if you have questions about sales conversations, techniques, styles, you can email us. So info@brendanbardick.com. If you want to go, look, I'm really struggling with a specific script, dialogue, sales conversation, let us know. We'll put it on the next week's agenda. We'll hash it out. You can always come on live on here and ask live stream questions as well. So Anna, thank you for the time and energy today. Ladies and gentlemen out there, practice, practice, practice. Be a pro, practice your dialogues, practice your conversations, and nothing will stop you. Anna, anything else before we go?
Nope. We'll see you back here next Tuesday at 11:30 Mountain Standard Time for Overtime with Brendan Bardick. We'll see you then.
Take care, everyone.